let's talk about what's happening with, pharmaceuticals, given that Trump's tariff rhetoric clearly continues. So let's try and understand what it would mean for the tariff-sensitive sectors. And clearly, pharma is what pops into everyone's mind. So let me welcome on board A. Vaidheesh, former MD, GSK Pharma, and industry leader on the show right now. Vaidheesh, great to have you on the show. Firstly, you think it's highly unlikely that US tariffs would be increased, and it is going to also lead to increase of US healthcare costs when we talk about pharma?
Well, first and foremost, it's very difficult to comment on a sovereign country's decision to take any trade-related decision. But however, if we live in a world of complex interdependence, so I'm quite sure that country like US will think through it before taking this decision, because pharma industry is quite complex, because there is a huge number of steps involved in making the final drug available to the patient. So I'm quite sure they will think through the implications of assuming if there is a tariff increase. But we will leave it to the respective countries to take a call what is important for them, and I'm quite sure that they will think through it very well.
Whether if tariff hike comes through, could this force pharma companies to change supply chains?
Well, see, this is very well known, right? As you know, the reason why the countries outsource certain aspect of their value chain to other countries is because there is a cost arbitrage and there is a cost benefit. And for example, in pharma industry, what I'm told is that US do save over significant amount, billions of dollars, by outsourcing it to India and China. Now, if they want to do a tariff, increase in tariff, obviously it will affect both the parties. One is the countries or the companies that are supplying, their cost will go up. And similarly, many of the drugs, the cost could be passed on to the patient, so it may have an increase in the inflation. Or it's also an opportunity for relooking at the supply chain efficiency. So it's going to be a very dynamic changes that has to happen. But the implication is for sure, immediately there will be a challenge in terms of the cost increase to the receiver. In this case, it is US.
Right. Let's talk about the Indian companies, namely Cipla, Aurobindo Pharma. They have presence in the United States. So do you think that these companies will have to now have a local base, which could in turn also act very strong in terms of distribution for them?
If it makes sense for you to put up a manufacturing site, being cost effective and the customers are going to be happy, I would say that the companies will evaluate. And I know for sure that there are companies who are evaluating to relocate their base of manufacturing in some other part of the world, including US. But at the end of the day, it's an economic decision, right? It's a financial decision that companies have to take. They have to do some trade-offs between business versus the cost efficiency. But however, you need to remember, today's manufacturing has become so robotic driven and AI driven. So the efficiency that you are going to get from anywhere else is not going to be significantly different from where you are making it, whether it's in India or in Mexico or in US, right? So I will leave it to the respective companies to make a call.
Right. Vaidheesh, so do you think that US pharma industry will be unable to meet the local manufacturing of US's manufacturing has now shifted out?
Yeah, see, as I told you, this is not a switch on and off button that you use for pharma manufacturing, because at the end of the day, if you're looking at complex generics, you're not going to make it overnight by switching off the button, right? But frankly, in my opinion, as I told you, I don't think one can come to an immediate answer saying that let's continue to keep it in India, let's not evaluate United States or any other country. It's going to be, now it is an opportune time for companies to evaluate those options, correct? And it has to make business sense, correct? If it doesn't make business sense, why would anyone change the location? of manufacturing, right?
So, how do you think India will be able to compete if cost of products they move higher? I mean, if tariff comes in, cost will go higher. If cost will go higher, will India lose its natural advantage? And could, like in textiles, what happened? I mean, manufacturing shifted from China to Vietnam and Bangladesh. Could India lose on that account if tariffs come?
Interestingly, India is a very large supplier of generic drugs to particularly US. And, there's no simple couple of players like, you know very well that Israel used to make or still makes, and Canada and Mexico, and all countries are going through the similar kind of a trade negotiation, trade conversation. So at this point of time, India is a very important, credible player in this space. So for anyone to immediately replace India is not going to be simple. It's not easy. Is it possible? Possible, but India still large volume of generic drug goes from India. So I don't think I would ever expect anyone to come back and fill the gap of India. It's impossible, particularly in near term.
Radish, as we speak, you have the pharma index that's under pressure in trade today. You have a lot of pharma stocks under pressure, given the fact that you got the commentary from Donald Trump last night itself, saying that the tariffs on pharmaceutical drugs would come in the very near future. And talking about India, we currently have very high import duties also when you talk about medical equipment which comes from the United States. This is it's another part of the story. But can you help us understand that what can we do, or what can be the next step with regards to that?
No, I don't think it's going to be a quid pro quo kind of a conversation, right? That India's decision to allow some medical devices to come into the country is based on certain rationale, right? I'm quite sure that our Indian officials are very talented enough to understand what it takes to review this particular import policy. I would not even combine it with both. And I'm quite sure based on the need for the country, our government will take an appropriate decision. I would be very careful in not linking up these two. It depends on what is the need of the country. Based on that, imports will be decided and what the tariff should be. I would not say that they both have to be linked at this point of time.
So do you see any sort of differentiation coming in areas when it comes to oral generics and specialty drugs?
Specialty generics is a value add, so it requires more science, more value add to what you are going to do, and it has to get differentiated by the way in which you deliver high quality specialty generics. And frankly, there's a good amount of small molecules out of patent. The patent cliffs are coming up, so that definitely offers an opportunity for many companies. And oral generics is oral generics because at the end of the day, efficiency makes a huge difference, your operational efficiency. So it has to be differentiated.
All right, Vedish, always nice to have you. Always nice to have you and get the lovely, wonderful insights from you.